It's the fellowship that keeps us going. It's the connection to each other that keeps us engaged. And to engage is to create, right? And so creating the environment, creating the ecosystem, creating the community into which we are developing what is our business, our models, our rituals, what we engage in constantly over and over and over again. These are the things that we have to think about in the same way as classical magic. And what I mean by this is I'm not talking about like the stage shows. I'm talking about old school theurgy from the church. Like you light your candles, you light your incense, you have the place you stand, you have the gestures that you do. Those are ritual actions that as a business owner and as a presenter, as a developer of business systems, these are the things that we engage in time and time again, so that way they get us the same results, so that way they create the environment, they create the ecosystem, they create the path of evocation, so that way what we get as a result is the return of that energy. So by practicing in private those rituals of devotion to a deity, those rituals of devotion to inviting energies in from either the earth, from either the intelligences of the stars, from either the behaviors of the planets or the behaviors of the elemental forces, we in turn become one with the nature of those things. So what we do and how we develop them as a result becomes more entrained with who we are in congruency. So by understanding that our business we are engaging in is an active ritual, we do it every day, every time we see a client, every time we see a new customer, it becomes an engagement of a ritual process that we have to perfect. So understanding that these things are things that we have to do time and time again, you have to start looking at what are the elements of your rituals, what are the elements of the things that go into making up what you're doing, so that you can support and you can sustain the evocation of the right energies that you're looking to bring in, right? So that means your words have to be crafted in a poetic way. Your appearance has to be pleasing. Your behavior has to be pleasing. You have to have a clean environment. You have to be able to do these things in a certain kind of way to elicit the same kind of response that you would expect when you're evoking the spirit of a place, or when you're calling down a divine intelligence, or when you're doing these things. So they are not separate acts. So getting better and learning how to do the different stages of what is the free energy of the thing that I'm going to be pulling in, what is the fixed nature of the thing that I'm going to be pulling in, you get to look at, is this going to be the energy that I want to have as my foundation? Are these the people that I want to work with? Are these the behaviors of the people that I want to work with? Are these the natures of the spirits that move within these people, so that way they work with other people to elevate those communities that are not where I'm at, right? Do for those that can, do for those that cannot, and do for those that never will. That's the operation that I work with, so that when I work with someone or something, it serves in that purpose so that I can work with them, that they'll be able to take that and work with people that I'm not working with, so that the people that we will never work with have the opportunity of having a generational impact outside of the myopic connection of the environment where they are the person interacting with me as a customer. They are interacting with me as an apprentice because they are the mentors for someone else, and as such they can take that message further. They can make that message grow, so that they can apply the ritual of business. They can apply the methodology of what it is that they're trying to do in a much more profound way, so that by their understanding of what it takes to build and connect to the primal elements and what those primal elements do in relation to themselves, they'll be able to see those same kinds of responses within somebody else's. So if they're trying to make somebody fiery, then they got to figure out what are the terminologies to make somebody fiery. What's going to get them off their ass to get them to do something? If they need them to be calm, they need to be kind of fluid. What are going to be the words that are going to make them all wish-washy, right? You need to be able to cut through somebody like a hot knife through butter. Well, you got to be able to get the right words out that are going to make it seem like you've got the words that'll cut right to the core of what it's doing, right? You've got to be clear. You've got to have that focus. And it's in this way that we study evocations, and it's in this way that we study the applications of ritual magic, is because doing the changes of our environment on purpose, washing the tables with religious oil, setting the tables for the spirits to come, it's the same engagement that we do in business when we prepare the day for the customer. We make sure that our displays are lit. We make sure that the floors are clean, the garbage is taken out, that it smells nice, that it's pleasing to the environment. So we are creating that environment as ritual magicians, as business owners, so that when they come through our front doors in the brick and mortar business, they have that tide and understanding. So that way there is a follow through, there is a clarity, there is an understanding that what we are doing is a living ritual, that what we were doing is the same type of loving dedication that a priest does every Sunday, we do every day in all things that we apply to. So when we get home at the end of the night, yeah, the house might look like a disaster area, but we have a ritual process that we go through to keep it clean, to keep it dusted, to keep it organized, so that way we can do the same kind of thing in our own homes that we do in the business community, right? And the same thing that we do in our ritual spaces, in our temples, to be able to follow through and create this organization, to create this understanding that what we have to offer and how we offer it is a ritual creation. It is the same repetition every day of the same energies to bring in the same evocative power of the same changes that we're trying to elicit in other people time and time again. These become stable processes. Fixed results occur. If they don't occur the way you want, modify the way that you've gone about getting them. So that way, by the time you're able to completely clarify your messaging, that you can go to the marketplace, you can do the things in the market that are going to bring you the kind of energy and the kind of return that you're looking for, you have that opportunity to do so. So that way, what you do and how you serve becomes a ritual action that you get better at. You become a master at time and time again. What you do, you can repeat, you can sell, right? And you can teach others to do it so that they can sell it, so that they can do it, so that they can engage with it. So learning ritual processes, yeah, it's simple. Light a candle, do a thing. On the business sense, your customer is your candle. It's that soul that you're interacting with. The thing that you're doing ritually is telling them the story about why your widgets work, why they need to buy this one type of lube as opposed to this other type of lube when it came to my shop, right? Well, you want this one because it won't get all sticky and gross. You can get all sticky and gross, but it won't. So that way you can have as much fun as you want, right? You got to make it fun. You got to have some element of levity to it. Yeah, you got to be able to have a spirit to it. You know, you've got to be able to put yourself into what you're doing so that it's not just a dead ritual that has no soul. So that the outcome is the same kind of change that you want to see over and over and over again. So that way you can serve at a higher level. You can serve with a better understanding. You can serve with the implication that I'm going to do this thing and it's going to get me this result. Business operates the same way. So studying the occult and studying business are interwoven because the hidden ways that operations work, the hidden ways that people respond to behavioral conditions that you set by cultivating your environment on purpose are exactly the same. So putting magic back in your business has become a paramount application of understanding that what you're doing is creating an environment that goes beyond your bricks. It works into the very soul of who you're working on or for, or the purposes to why you're doing it. So that way you can serve at the highest levels. So that way you can go and you can create over and over and over again those same kind of environments that'll bring in the same kind of people or the same kind of spirits to that behavior, to that condition, so that you have a thing that you can do and serve and you can demonstrate and you can get them served by that thing. Regardless of how you feel about it that day, you do the ritual, you go through the motions of it, and it becomes second nature. It becomes automatic. It becomes cycles that you can follow through. So, in this way, the ritual application and the study of ritual magic and the study of client services is the same process. They're not separate. And they're really important that you understand that, so that way you can serve the spirit of the person, not just through the widgets and not just through working with other people, but you can actually serve them in their individual behavior. What in their behavior will your product or service provide that will elevate them out of the situation that they're in, right? Not having an orgasm is a situation that's easily rectified if you get this kind of toy to do this kind of thing, because you've tried these other ones and they didn't really do it for you. But this one will, because it's really cool and it wiggles. Or like it sucks on this part of your body and it does this sort of thing. Like, that shit is cool. What type of ingredients do you use? Like, what type of foodstuffs are you feeding your people in your restaurants, so that when you go on social media and you're talking about your restaurants, why are the ingredients that you use selected in that food to bring out this flavor, so that way you have this profile, right? These are all really important ingredients, and that to be able to demonstrate them over and over and over again, to be able to get into that ritual mindset, that what you're doing actually is serving their spirit. Again, it takes your business beyond the bricks and widgets. It takes it into a higher understanding of what does business do, what am I actually doing with my business, and how am I changing the environment with it, and how can I do that to the best of my abilities to serve to the highest of my capacity. So that's what I want to leave you with on this particular message today, is that your business is a ritual action. You are creating a conscious change within the environment, and it's your responsibility to speak to the spirit of the individual, not just the widgets and shit you sell. So if you can do that, you can serve better, and you can serve deeper. So until next time, my friend.